that you have a chance to download these two mobile apps on iOS. If you don't use iOS, don't worry. The Android version will be coming out very soon. The reason why we ask you to download this because we're going to do a demo real time using this app. Okay, so without further ado, let me just begin. What is KEEP? You might be wondering. KEEP stands for Knowledge and Education Exchange Platform. And this is really a platform that has all 8 institutions involved. So this is not just one institution. We are a little bit different, but that's okay. It's all 8 institutions involved. So this is why we're here in partnership with CityU and other institutions on this e-learning platform project. Let me just begin by saying something about online education. I sound like preaching to the choir because you guys don't know how important e-learning is, or else you will not be here. But online education is really one of the biggest changes in education since the invention of the printing press. And it really has transformed the way that we teach and we learn. And I think that it will continue for many years to come. And I really think that we're only at the tip of the iceberg right now. And in terms of using the technology, learning pedagogy, and practices and all that. You know, very much like 20 years ago, you know, we're still on Blackboard, we're still doing this, but now everybody's doing PPT. I think that the e-learning is also, will undergo a very drastic change for teachers as well as students. 65% of higher education institutions now say that online learning is a very critical part in terms of long-term strategy. And I think CityU is no doubt is no different than all these institutions. 31% of students in higher education now take at least one course online. In fact, I know some university in China, their graduation requirement is to have at least one online course. Okay, so this is becoming a commonplace in our curriculum. As I shared with you before, this is all 8 institutions. So we are just so happen to be the leading institution for this project, but each one has their own part in this project. So very happy to see a presentation later on by Ron and Terrence. It is funded by UGC. It's a 3-year project. We started our first year. We still have 2 more years to go. And I'll share with you what we have done, and then also some of the things that we're going to do in the next, in this year and next year. Okay. So aside from these 8 institutions, we also have partner from Coursera. You guys all know what Coursera is, right? I don't want to belabor the point, but Coursera's founder, Andrew Ng, in fact, I know him because he and I, we are both in machine learning area. So how Coursera began really is by, he figured, why teach 30, 40 students? Why not open this course to the world outside of Stanford University? And to his surprise, I think that over 100,000 students actually signed up for his course, and it's been proven one of the most popular online courses that there is. And what he says, we're excited that KEEP will help increase the discoverability of Coursera's courses and other high-quality online learning resources in Hong Kong and beyond. And what we share with him is that we're able to actually help him to promote Coursera and other e-learning and online resources. And that's what KEEP is doing. And I want to share about that later. Here's edX. Anand Agarwal is from the edX. He's the CEO. He also says that I heard so much about KEEP. Please tell me more about it. And in fact, we're working with Coursera and edX. We're also working with Yuan from Taiwan. So we have actually languages, not only English, but also in traditional Mandarin Chinese. Okay. We also work with Xuetao. Okay. We have their meta content, and And lastly, recently we just, we're doing this partnership with Adore. What Adore is a micro-learning platform. So, as you know, to move traditional things to e-learning, one of the components that we need to go through is making video. And more and more so that we don't believe just by merely taping the video of a lecture will be enough. We really need to break it down into smaller components, a smaller concept. So what this platform, Adore, is really nice in terms of, if you think of YouTube meets Wikipedia meets Pinterest. So you combine the best of these three things together, you will see that each video, each component is almost like a Pinterest post. And you could collect these things into a concept board, okay, a pin board or concept board. And this is how I would describe Adore. So Adore is our most recent co-branding partner. We don't need to write everything, but we would like to work with other people in terms of co-branding, in terms of promoting e-learning as a whole. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So what is KEEP? KEEP is actually, really, KEEP comes in the intersection of three things. Education, no doubt about it, because that's what we're all in. Also, information. This is the age of information. And lastly, we believe that technology will play a major part in transforming this e-learning. So these are the three things that we are, this is our DNA, you could say. And the key really lies in the intersection of these three. Okay? So we want to know more about how pedagogy is being deployed, how technology can help that pedagogy, and how information can actually help all the stakeholders, not only for the student, the teachers, and also the administrator, and even parents, professional companies, and so on and so forth. KEEP is really an education cloud, and it's underneath an engine. It has search engine. It has. We are planning to put a game engine in there, and we'll tell you more about that perhaps a little bit later. But there are four components, major components, that I just want to briefly describe. First is the education content. Now, what's really nice about KEEP is that we have a crawler that is dedicated to crawling only education resources. So unlike what Google is doing, when you type a keyword, for example, e-learning, you will hit all sorts of stuff that is related to e-learning, but it's not necessarily educational, okay? But on our search engine, everything is about education. So we will get events, we'll get courses, we'll get many things that is related to e-learning, the keyword that you type in. So our search is very, very focused. It's very clean in that sense. Okay? And what's nice about it is that's what's nice. And we're going to show you some of the other features too in this search engine. Secondly is that we want to connect with all the universities' education system so that we're able to actually transfer important data back to the university. So the university student actually uses our system to log on or to enroll in a class, and he or she completes the class and so on and so forth. We want that information to be passed back to all the institutions. So there will be one place that they can actually do this. So we're actively involved in connecting our database system with the university system so that we know who are the students, and we can do stats and and so on and so forth. Remember, this is a UGC project, so we need to actually be accountable to UGC. We want to make sure that our students are being taken care of. And in fact, we hope to have some sort of a portfolio system so that we can follow the student, what kind of keyword that he or she searches, what kind of interest that the student has, what courses he or she has enrolled, and so on and so forth. So this is really the education information that we would like to actually obtain. The third thing you're going to see is really exciting thing is that we, as I shared with you, we're working with Coursera, edX, and all that. We have gotten all their metadata. So you just come to KEEP to do one-stop search. You don't have to actually go to Coursera and say what kind of course they have on on management. What kind of course does edX have? You come to Keep, you will search for all these sources. So it's almost like we are the meta search engine for all the online resources. Okay, so you come to us, you do this. And on top of that, we are actually providing you with 2 platforms that you could actually broadcast to the whole world. Currently we have Moodle. We also have Open edX. We're thinking about Open Canvas very seriously. That's our potentially next thing. And the difference is this: if you do a Moodle or you do Open edX in your school, it is really, sure, it's open to the world, but nobody's going to advertise or promote you to the world. But if you do on Keep, we'll guarantee that we will promote this to the world. So, there are some courses your university might not want you to go on Coursera, might not want you to go on edX. But it's okay to put it on Keep as an experimental system, or as really a good course. But you might not want to go with Coursera and edX. You might want to do with Keep. Okay. So currently we have 2. We're exploring Blackboard. We're exploring Open Canvas. We're exploring other learning management systems in here. Okay, so we have a very good integration with other MOOCs in terms of metadata. We also have open source LMS integration with a few of them, okay, for people to explore. The last thing is the functional modules, and these are some of the things that we could tag on top of this platform to facilitate educators and students in their teaching and learning experience. For example, one of the things that we could do is the plagiarism system. VeryGuide, for example. We haven't integrated this to Turnitin, obviously, but we have VeryGuide that we could actually use this in any of the courses here. In fact, VeryGuide right now is integrated into Moodle. So if you use the Moodle in here, you could, in fact, use the VeryGuide as a component inside. We could also have things, for example, that will analyze your speech. Given maybe 20 vocabularies, English words, we could actually tell you, a system could actually tell you how good or how close you are to a native English speaker. Okay? And this could facilitate, because you can actually track the student over a time period, and you can see how the student will progress. And all this vertical information is fed back into this platform, into the Keep platform, and then all this information is again fed back into the university, because this is their data. So if your student is actually taking a course, maybe a Moodle course here, there is a mode that is exclusive, there's a mode that is open. All the information taken here will be collected here and then filtered back into all the universities back here. And all these vertical components too, if you use those vertical components, all that data information will be fed back into the Keep platform and then also fed back into the university. Okay, so this is really the Keep Education Cloud that we envision for this project. Okay, and lastly, I just want to say, really, we really strive to be an open and global platform. For educators, access to learning platform of your choice, ability to reach a global audience, and we want to be at the forefront of using technology to facilitate education. For learners, there are tools available, so again, it's one single source. You don't have to go search for many different places. You just come to us, you do a search, you will get all the courses, e-learning courses available. And there are other tools that is available, and there are a lot of information that is available. Okay, so for this time, I really want to show you, actually I thought there was 5. Is there 5? There are 4? Okay, sorry. There are 4 things, and then a door, we're going to do that a little bit later. There are 4 things that we want to show you today. Keep Search, Keep Catalog, Keep Course, and Keep Poll. Okay? And I'm going to briefly describe to you what these things are, and then we're going to get some demo going. Okay. First thing is Keep Search. Now, Keep Search, obviously, it's almost like a Google search. But as I say, our content is very clean. So you only get education information or content. Okay, so all this thing will be local to Hong Kong first, and then we'll expand it to regional and then global. So right now, everything like here will be workshops, events, courses, teachers' homepage, and so on and so forth. And I think, I don't know how many millions of pages we have, but we should have a stat page a little bit later. And there are some innovative things that we're doing it. I'm going to show you, this is one particular thing, it's called clustering. So in Google, you have a whole list of, when you do a search, you have a whole list of, hits. But they are not somehow clustered. This is clustered, so that you will kind of get a higher level of understanding of what your search result is. So you search for a particular term, and then you will tell you, oh, this is there was a workshop, maybe something on edX and so on and so forth. So this is really quite useful for visualization of your search items. Keep Catalog is a catalog that we keep for all the hardware, the software, and the services that is provided to educators and students, okay, to enhance their learning experience. So what these are, for example, a couple of years ago, nobody knows what Dropbox is, right? Now everybody uses Dropbox. But do you know how to use Dropbox to do collaborative research? How do you do that for a course? What can we do? Do you know there is software actually you could write documents together, right? Google Doc, for example, right? That you can actually put, different people could actually write in the same document. That's how you write papers together, in fact. So there are many, many of these things, and what we do, what we're going to show you, is that we want to catalog all these products, not only about description and where you can download this, but teachers' experience in using them. So we want to form this a community, so that you can actually enter all this information, your experience, and on how to use each one of these things into our system. And that's what we're striving for. The third thing is obviously is a Keep course. Like I said before, these are all the courses from all the major e-learning sites. And on top of that, also the course that you could put onto Keep. So again, if you have a Moodle course or Open edX course on Keep, we will in fact give you higher priority and preference and put it up there, right? And this is how you would search for a course. We will show you that. We could actually tailor or have a much more focused search for a particular university, department, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, really, what we want to show is Keep Poll. Keep Poll is an innovative technology. It's really a polling system. A polling system is asking one question, and later on we're going to show you what that is. But it is a very quick feedback, from the teacher to the student. So the teacher may be, doing a lecture, and in the middle of the lecture, maybe there could be a question that the teacher would ask to assess the understanding from the student. And then one simple question could be listed out. And what is really nice is this. I keep on telling my class, 5 years ago, I tell the student, don't bring your computer, don't bring your phone, don't talk in class, right? But now it's totally different. It's totally different. We tell them, bring your computer, bring your phone, and we want you to talk in class because we're doing flipped classroom, right? So I think that the way that we actually conduct education is very vastly different from 5 years ago. And this is something that we want to actually, for the teacher and the student, to interact much more. In fact, I like this two-screen system for a reason. We envision, in fact, one side, you could list down like a tweet. So you could set up a Keep Poll with the open-ended questions. And while here, you can have the presentation. So as you do this lecture, you might be seeing student, typing questions right there, asking you questions. They might be so shy in terms of raising their hand. But it's perfectly okay for them to type in, and we wouldn't know who is typing it in, right? So this kind of system is really set up to enhance engagement between a teacher and the student, and also assessment, because we keep track of those things. So the teacher would know, if you ask a question, whether the student actually get it right, how many % get it right, and And what is really nice is it has management capabilities, so that you can actually reuse these questions over and over again in a classroom. Okay, so this is really something, and we will show you that this is being integrated into Apple Watch. So you can actually talk to it or type something very simple, and then this will work. We'll show you that. Okay, so yeah, the Keep devices. So we have 2 apps right now on iOS, and then also on the Apple Watch. I think this is my turn. I mean, your turn, right? Yeah. Okay. So I will stop right now, and then we're gonna go through this because, and then I'll come back to say a little bit more about what is the future. So I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening. So now an idea that what service or product is on our platform, but how can you utilize in your classroom or teaching context? So we will go through each of these in a scenario. So we will have a scenario here first of all. So let's say, what about do you do flipped classroom? So in order to do flipped classroom, so first of all you will need a bunch of video clips for students to view at their home before they come to class to do discussion and exercise. So then how can you do the video editing? So we'll have this imagination scenario. So you will start the very first step to learn how to do video editing. So if you are going to use our product, so first of all, you will use the Keep search to find a course to learn video editing. And then you will go to the Keep catalog to find the software to do the video editing. Now going through these 2 steps, you are now a master of video editing. So you have a great skill set, so you want to share your video editing skills to everyone around the world. So you go to our Keep course and create a course about video editing. So here's the first 3. But how about the in-class interaction? So we also have the Keep call for you to interact with students, and then the direct Keep for after-class exercises. So let's start to go into our platform to see a demonstration. So first of all, this is a Keep search. So of course we are going to learn video editing, so we just type the word video editing. So once you hit enter button, it will give you a bunch of results here. So as Professor Kim described, it's educational centric. So you see things are coming from schools. And you can further refine the search result by using the filter box here. So for example, we filtered with City University. So we have a course here. So the second one is a course about what? Let's take a look. It's video editing. But the video editing for mass communication, is that appropriate for learning how to do actual editing video stuff? I think I'll further do some more in-depth search. So here comes the second function, cluster search. So in this cluster search, you'll see about the video editing keyword. The left-hand side also provide every related words about video editing. So we have communication and public opinion in the center. So we click on it. Now the search result is further refined. Now if we click on the first one, yeah. Oh, City University provides sort of lots of courses about video editing. Great. Now we can master our video editing skills. That's great. So this is the Keep search. Now you know how to do video editing, but what other teachers use when they do editing video? So we go to Keep catalog and find an appropriate software. Now we again type the word video editing here. And the Keep catalog will provide a list of educational hardware, software, and services. So these are the tools about editing a video. So let's take a look at the first one. It's called ScreenFlow. When you go inside the Keep catalog page, it will give you about the description of the product, what it will look like, and on what platform it will run on. So you have a general idea here. So you can try out this software. So let's say you use this software to do the flipped classroom video and you find, well, that's great. this software is wonderful. I want to share this software, share my experience about this software with other colleagues. And so you can return to Keep Catalog in this page, and then write your own review about this product. So you can give a rating here. So you can give your comments about this software and any other special skills when using this software. So, but when you're doing teaching, maybe you encounter other great product that you're using during your teaching or classroom, but you cannot find it here, but you want to promote or encourage other people to use that software or product. So you can go to our Keep Catalog and then go to the submit form and submit that service or software product to us about what it is, what it do, what platform it runs on. Submit it to us and we will list it on our Keep Catalog and we will promote it to other educators. So this is the Keep Catalog. So now, in this scenario, Dr. Kwok will be become a master in video editing. So you have a great skill set. So how about sharing this skill set with every other people? So now we come to Keep Course. Now Keep Course is a place that indexes courses from around a variety of providers. So you will see here we have a Coursera, edX, EduShutterX, etc., etc. But you can concentrate on the last two. We have Keep Moodle for you. We have Keep OpenEdX for you. So you can actually put your own teaching material onto our Keep Course platform. So in case if you have created courses here, and then people come to Keep Course, and they can search the course and find your great resource. So for example, we search the word video, and say for example, then you will see a course about video here. But actually, there are some courses about how to use Keep. It's also shown up here, because inside the course it also contains video. So if you're interested to use our Keep Course as a platform for your course content, you can go to the submit form and then provide your information about you and your institution, your course, what it's going to teach, etc., etc. Submit it to us, and we will prepare the course area for you. So let's take a look at one of the platform, the Keep OpenEdX here. So once we provide the course login and information and etc. for you, so you will log into the Keep OpenEdX here. So here is an example. So you can see course content are organized by section, subsection, and units. So we further go into the unit and take a look. When you are designing a course opening to hundreds of thousands of students, I don't think you are going to assess the student one by one in a traditional way, such as grading, assignment files, etc., etc. So you want to do assessment work automatically. So as a learning platform, it should provide you something like this, multiple choice in the blanks. These are the normal questions, but OpenEdX also provides you some advanced types, such as, for example, you will see a JavaScript and Python script thing. It also have an image mapping, and one of the great tools is a peer assessment. So when you have hundreds of thousands of students, and you create an appropriate assessment exercise, and then you can let student A access student B, C, and D's work, and they will evaluate each other's work, and this will definitely offload your assignment workload. So to save time, we just create a course about video editing. So we have here Video Editing 101. So if you have a video course like this, so you will see we have going to teach people about the video basics such as frame rate, aspect ratio, so on and so forth. So in the course we can have, the first one will be a textual description, some data. You can also include a video about video editing. So this video will demonstrate, well not demonstrate, but explain what is frame rate. So we have 24 frames per second, so on and so forth. And then we can also have there's supposed to be a multiple choice quiz here to ask about the frame rate here. So this is the Keep course. So I would like to mention one thing, that although our Keep platform is targeting to global audiences, but if you have a course that you want to put your material onto our Keep platform, but also want to limit to your own class students, you are also welcome to do so by sending us the form, and then the student list will arrange the course setting to you. So this is a Keep course. So up to here, we have a setup that you come from Keep Search to learn things, Keep Catalog to find the right tools, and then Keep Course to share your teaching resources. But these are the things that doing online. But when you come back to the school environment, going back to the classroom, how can you do interaction with your students? How can you enhance the student interaction with the students? So I'll let Raymond to do the upcoming demo about the Keep poll. So
So let's don't worry about the internet problem. For example, we already use the search, the catalog, the courses to create wonderful video editing 101 for the students to learn from their home, on the train, or during their lecture time, and etc. But what you can do during the lectures time? The concept of flipped classroom is you make use of the lecture section to do more interaction between question, answer, discussion, and so on and so forth. So, as Professor Mix mentioned already, if I just ask a question and ask the student to can you please raise your hand and ask your opinion, give your feedbacks, then students are a little bit shiny. They probably don't really raise their hand and answer your question. But what we can do with the latest technology, we use the mobile phones, we can ask them to give the response anonymously or make much more easier to on the screen to have interaction. For example, we have a Keep poll. As you can see, we have a list of poll. You can maybe reuse the poll question every time during different seminars, lectures. What about if I want to ask a new question? I can just create a new question. For example, I can ask what is your favorite software for video editing? And then as below you can see, we have basically two choice options. One is multiple choice, the other one is open-end. Because usually these two is the easiest way to get response and feedback. And later on we will have more and more of these different kind of choices. I may ask a question, then I should, in my MC, I may be just, this is not a quiz, or there's maybe no correct answer. So probably I will just connect the feedback. Maybe I can say Adobe Premium, Final Cut Pro, iMovie. I just want to do a quick survey about the student, what's their favorite software about video editing. So I can just create the question. And now you can see a summary page of the poll question. And in the lecture, you can just easily go into a full screen presentation mode and allow the student to give you a response. There are three major ways to give response. Oh, that's very quick. Thank you. First of all, is the QR code. Any kind of QR code scanner, or if you have just download our mobile apps, you can use our Keep poll application in iOS to do the voting. And the other one is, let's say that student maybe just have the notebook, they don't have the mobile, then they can type in the URL available here, and then they will also see the question and to give the response. And even worse, if I'm say, I don't have mobile phone, I don't have web, I don't have tablet, etc., then I can still use my old traditional phone, like for example, the Bluetooth Nokia 1000 something, and then I send SMS code, and we will able to also receive the response. Because this one, in Hong Kong society, we may have a more mobile device, etc. But in some other places, China, India, or Taiwan, etc., they may still have the old traditional phone. Using SMS, we can still receive the question. For the one, if you don't have the mobile phone or iOS, I may want to show you how's our Keep poll app on iOS, how's it going to work. So if you do got an iPhone, and probably you can just go to the App Store, type Keep-Poll, and you will able to find our applications about Keep-Poll. So let's just go inside the apps to see what's available here. For example, the first step is the QR code. As you see, William is now going to scan the QR code, and then you will see the question and the options, and you can give the response. For example, my favorite is Adobe Premium, and I submit. So if both the teachers and students were able to see the result on this way. And also, if I just don't want to take the QR code scanning, or the QR code may be too small, I can use the other poll ID tab. For example, there is an ID called 60220 or 224. Maybe I choose iMovie, and then I also do the same things. And also, if I can, for doing the same option for open-ended question, given the ID, I can still also type my comments, my feedback, etc. So this is how the teachers will be look like to manage your own poll. For example, if a teacher I have a small group discussion, I don't have the project presenter, probably I can just take out my mobile. I broadcast the question and to share this question to the student. For example, in this here, you can see there's a broadcast button. I can use a Bluetooth broadcast. So any device with their Bluetooth turned on and install our Keep-Poll application, they will receive a notification to get the same answer. And before you are going to let your student answer, you have to set a 4-digit passcode in case there may be 2 discussion groups and happening in the same Bluetooth zone, etc. So then the other student will receive the notification. So probably if this room is not quite very big, if
It's a broadcast code.
what have you said?
You just said it.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Did you guys get it? Bluetooth?
Yeah. So you're able to receive that one. And last but not least, I wonder how many of you may have the Apple Watch, but because sometimes we don't want to take out our mobile, or our mobile is already charging, and I can still use the watch to answering the question. The watch is a little bit tiny here, so I will probably just show you a video about the Apple Watch.
This demo is for all of you who love Apple. Keep-Poll is available on the Apple Watch, and we're going to show you just how easy it is to make learning interactive. Here's the main Apple Watch screen. You'll see that Keep-Poll is the pretty little green icon. Let's open it. Let's say Charlie is in class and his instructor just put up a multiple choice question asking what the tallest building in Hong Kong is. Of the choices on the screen in class, Charlie thinks that it's the International Commerce Center, ICC, which corresponds to 59076. So he's going to tap Answer ID. Once he does that, Apple Watch's built-in Siri functionality kicks in and Charlie simply says 59076. He hits done and voila, his answer is populated in the selection box. Of course, Charlie might want to double check his answer. Then, after he hits submit, the app will show him a nice little confirmation message. Now let's say there are multiple polls going on at the same time in the same area, and Charlie's instructor wants to make sure all students focus on a particular poll. She can broadcast a particular poll to all devices in the surrounding area with a click of a button, and Charlie will see the poll pop up on his watch screen. All he has to do is click poll and enter in the 4-digit passcode that his instructor set, in this case, 0941. The poll appears immediately on the screen, and now she wants to know who the best emperor of Rome is. Everyone knows that the correct answer is Augustus, so Charlie selects that, scrolls down, and hits submit. Success! Learning and interaction made easy. Okay, back to Charlie again. This time his instructor is looking to challenge the students in European history. She sends a poll to him, and this time the open-ended question pops up asking why did Rome fall? Thanks to Siri, Keep Poll takes advantage of voice dictation and allows users to input free-form text answers and allows students to give teachers more descriptive feedback. Charlie clicks on answer text. Siri pops up and Charlie says invasion. He clicks done. As you can see, invasion appears so he can verify the answer and clicks submit. And voila! His response was accepted and now he's on to the next question. This is just the beginning of all the possibilities that teachers and students can begin to explore to create a dynamic, more interactive learning environment.
Yeah, actually you can do a little bit more about this Keep Poll. So after you have collect all the response or opinions from the student, you can download the result in an Excel file or CSV file for your later purpose or even for research. And of course, you can also like archive the result, and you can able to reuse the same question. For example, I can just archive this I call like CTU, and then after clear this. That's great. I can reuse the question in next time in a UFT seminar. I don't need to create again and again. So this is how you do interaction during the lecture and classroom. What about the last part? Maybe you want to have some follow-up exercise assessment with the student. You want to keep track whether they fully understand your concept, like for example video editing. You can use our co-branding product Edo and Keep. This is a list of exercises you have created before. Of course, you can also reuse those products. And now I'm going to show you how to create a new one. The structure of this exercise is very simple. You can basically create an exercise. You call it maybe I want to talk about video frame rate and a little bit of description, the subject or the grade level, or I can like put in. I want to put it into a homework set, for example. And in order to attract more attention, probably you will find a nice cover image to draw more attention. For example, I type like video editing. I see, wow, this looks very professional. Then I pick this one and as the cover photo of that exercise. And you can add some texts for easier searching and capitalizing. Here comes the real content about the exercise. Usually you will embed some images or video to let the student to take a quick review, or then in the Edo you can fully to use the YouTube features. For example, I just talked about frame rate, so I pick this one. The first one is quite nice. I want the student to take a look of this and do a very quick answering exercise. Then in the bottom part, I can ask the question, for example, like what is the standard frame rate? And then I add the answer from MC question, for example, like 24, 30, 60, and 120, etc., etc. And because this is an assessment, you can choose the correct answer. It's a little bit different from the poll question. That one you want to interaction, collab, respond, and feedback. But this one you can maybe ask the answer. So after that you can just like continue and finish it, give some hints as if you want, or if not, just like publish it. And then last step is you can send an email, share on Facebook about the link of the exercise, then they can able to do it. Or you can put it in the CMS or LMS you already create. For example, I put it in the Open Ed, there's a link there. So after they finish, they can also click on it to have a exercise. So how will be look like for student? So it's a quite simple standard layout. You have the video and the question and then together, and after you like, oops, the correct answer is not 30 here, etc. You can, in this way, you can allow the student have a very quick assessment to learn, understand better and more. So all these 5 services and products we have introduced is just like part of education tools you probably can use. You are maybe more genius, can come up with more different ways of using these software. And we also will introduce more and more products that we think we can be helpful to the education side. So Professor King will tell you a few little bit more about our goal, our future plans.
Okay, so let me just finish this up. I just want to mention this. The POL system is actually tied up. The plan is to tie this out with our university system so that we can use this to take attendance. So when the student actually answering polls, we know who actually is doing this. This is very, very crucial for us because we now have a system that you have to actually use your university ID card. But that costs money, and this has very little overhead, and you're welcome to use this. And this is for this reason. This system currently is tied in with COHK's QSIS, we call it, our system, so that we can do this by January of 2016. Okay, so we're introducing this as attendance, keeping track of attendance. In fact, you could do this with upload with the Excel file.
Yeah.
Right? So next time we come in January, we'll introduce this new feature for each teacher. Once they upload a file, we can actually track all the students and take attendance as we go. Now, I'm going to just share with you a couple of things that we are planning to do in the upcoming months. There are 4 specific things that we'd like to do more. We're already beginning to do some of it. First thing, obviously, is to provide better analytics, more analytics. Earlier, you saw, although we co-brand with Adore, we are actually getting some of the analytics from Adore. Like the question that the student answered correctly or incorrectly, we will know. Frame rate, 24. Well, he answered the first 30. We will know this, okay? And that information will be sent back to the instructor and also sent back to the university for further analysis and so on and so forth. So we hope that we can use this analytic capability to pinpoint problems with the student as well as for the teachers, right? Because teachers, why do students actually keep on looking at a particular video? Well, that's because the video was poorly done. So we had to ask the teacher to redo this over again. So these are some of the analytics we want to do. The second thing we want to do is incorporating gaming or gamification into our platform. This is not only like playing games on a PS or on these game consoles, but what we want to do is incorporating game theoretic policies, okay, into our platform. And we're looking forward to actually working with a company from Taiwan. You probably know Benton, to get their game engine into our system for everybody to use, so we can build things on top of that. We're hoping to do something for example, on English using that game engine. Third thing is we want to be more social. All these things right now, they are separate, almost individual product. There's not an overarching collaboration or a social aspect of this. We hope to build that in this coming year. And very lastly, as I shared with you before, we want our learning, our assessment, our engagement, our interaction to be really on mobile and wearable devices. Okay, and so we are pushing very hard to not only use smartphones, tablets. We're trying to do something with even the iPad Pro. It's a very large tablet. We want to be able to do something with that. But even as small as Apple Watch, we hope that we could actually use this for the benefit of educators as well as their students. So these are the four areas that we hope and we can make an impact in the next 12 months or so. So, if you have any question, please feel free to contact us. We're very happy to hear, to work with you as a partner in terms of promoting e-learning and other use of technology in education. Come visit us. This is where we are. Very nice place. We have a studio set up, and this is where we actually sit. It's in the Chinese U, very close to the train station.
Yeah.
So come and visit us. Come and say hi. This is where we are. This is the lake. Here's the train station. So, oh wait, where's the train station? Here's the train station. Right? Here's the train station. And then you just walk up. Very close. And then, yeah. So please sign up at this and keep in touch. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you very much. Okay, so your show now.
Yeah, Mike.
Okay. That's it.
So, thank you, Professor King. I think we are very honored, right, to be invited by your big project, right, so that we can actually contribute.
We're working together.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I think this is a time for me to talk about, I mean, the role of City Youth, right, in supporting this project. As Professor King mentioned, I think we, right, are very happy, right, actually to join in because of this kind of innovation of using e-learning platforms, I mean, to support our teaching and learning, not just within the classrooms in City U, and also, right, if we can actually make use of it, actually, the students, right, from all over the world can actually attend our classes online. Now, we have actually two roles, I mean, from City U. I think the first role, I think, to promote, right, colleagues and students, right, to join in and take part in this big project. The second one is related to the course, right, the key course. So we are actually identifying some potential, right, kind of courses, I mean, to be involved. One of course is related to the apps, the other is actually related to the culture, and so on and so forth. I will explain later on. And this project, we and other collaborators, Dr. Terence Jiang, is my good friend, I mean, our department, and an expert in text finding. But actually, when we talk about analytics, he's the one, I think, to be able to help. Now, I would like to go back, I mean, to what Professor King would like to talk about, I mean, the game, right? We like to be involved in gamifications, right? The elements in e-learning. Now, so we actually did some homework, do some literature, right, on the theory about how we make good use of gamification in our e-classes. I would say, I mean, sometimes it's quite difficult, I mean, to engage your students, even in one face-to-face environment. Then how about online? I would say that I wish the dropout rate of this kind of e-learning courses is not that bad. But in order to help the students and to engage, right, the whole courses, right, without any say dropout intention, I think we definitely need to have something, right, special in the course, like gamifications, right, or social effect and so on and so forth. So we look at some literature, right, related to e-learning, but how they engage it. So we would like to look at, I mean, the part which is related to the non-reward base. But non-reward base doesn't mean that no reward, but it's related to intrinsic reward rather than extrinsic reward. So when we talk about the gamification, we also need, the game mentioned, we have to think about some intrinsic reward rather than just give them badges and so on and so forth. And we use the theory, the self-determination, right, to look at it. But I will go through this part very quickly, and then I will show you some of our idea and how to incorporate gamification in our course. Right, so this is a rundown, gamification, how gamification fostering creativities. Now, this is also, I would like to sell a little bit our university. You know, although today, I mean, we only have not so many, I mean, colleagues here, but we have the most important person here, right? We have some in provost office. She's in charge of the discovery and DEC, discover and enrich the curriculum, right, of CityU. And also we have CIO office here. So when we talk about the security issue, the locking issue, he's the one to handle that. And also we have some colleagues from CCIV, the Chinese Civilization at the center, right, and also our department. But anyhow, I think those are the key players. So and we talk about something related to the recipe model I mentioned, and also I give 2 courses. This is only our preliminary idea, right? Which is the first one is a mobile application for business innovation. This is actually I'm the course leader, so it is a bit hard, like you mentioned, a bit technical course. And also we have some soft courses like Chinese civilization. So I'm actually mingling together to see what we can actually make very good use of the existing resources and put it in the course.
Very good.
All right, so we focus on gamification means game design for non-game context, like education, like fitness. And we like to try, to make use of a problem-solving approach. So I think they have already mentioned about how to set the questions. But now we actually have to look at it, not just a question, we also need to mention it's like a project, right? So to solve real problems. This is actually what the 3 mentioned, is actually we have to engage, right, the students to challenge them, right, and then to help them to get into the what we call the state of flow. Now the state of flow actually means is we want to not actually trying to bore the student, right? That means that it's too easy, or they watch a video and then they answer multiple choice question. Maybe they find it maybe easy, but at least we need to make something more challenging. To reach what they actually want, and also we actually want to make it here. They can do it. So I like the way they mentioned about the high engagement. They get say additional knowledge, and then they will be more creative in the stage of flow. Now, but in the stage of flow means what? I think is they have to modify the gamification have to be able to modify the difficulty level according to, right, what the I think Professor King mentioned. It's right in the first time, but it's wrong in the first time and right in the second time, and they actually have to know their kind of say ability, and then we actually help them to go through it, level up. Based on their kind of say previous knowledge and their kind of abilities. So trying to enhance their self-determination, right? So then they can keep it. So I like the games it's like Candy Crush, right? Sometimes it's quite challenging, right? Sometimes it's quite easy. But when you play for a particular game, for instance, the level of 450, for instance, right? The first 10 times you play is quite difficult. But the 11th time you play, it's easier. Right? And then this is actually the way they get your angle to keep you. They challenge you, but at sometimes they give you some bonus or some hints and so on and so forth that keep you continue to play. Now I wish this engine, right, gamification engine, right, that you mentioned can help us to settle this kind of say self-regulatory, and also we actually can modify the difficult level, right, to adjust so that to help the students to engage continuously, right, to complete the whole game. So the key is to balance the difficult level, right, with adequate reward. Now, but this literature challenge, right, about the reward, right, should we be intrinsic or actually extrinsic? It's actually a challenge that we shouldn't be too much extrinsic. So it's like in our classroom. So how can we actually make intrinsic motivation in the mood course instead of extrinsic motivation in mood course? I think this is a very good research question that we are actually trying to argue, I think, in our studies. And also the other things is related to real world context. That's why I think we invite colleagues from CCIV, Chinese Civilization, to make it right the real world context. All right, now, and also we follow this 6 ideas, right? It's related to the mood course has to be reflective. So let the students have a chance to reflect, what they have learned, and also they can actually share, right, with each other. And also expose. Expose means that they have to integrate. So it's related, has to be, right, in a real, right, world context in form of a project. So it's like a discovery, right, through the Chinese civilization on certain kind of issues, right? And also the choice. This must have a choice. So we want to see whether, right, the direction, whether they complete the first task and then the second task and third task and then it is supposed to be sequential, right? Can we make it parallel? They can actually have a choice on which to choose, right? They can select the way. And also the information, the game's display. So this part I think is what we mentioned. How about give them that kind of information related to intrinsic kind of motivation about their progress. And also their freedom is similar to the one in the first, and now the other is engagement. So we highlight the word discover. Means I think we want the students making use of Moot course to have their own discovery. I think different students get into the same course, but they may have different discovery right from the course. So this is actually what we would like to talk about. Now, to make the, I would like to tell a little bit about, to promote how to transform your existing course, right, into the Moot course. So this is the example I would like to show you. For instance, you already have your own existing course with a schedule of 30 weeks and so on and so forth. Now, there's a spectrum that you can actually choose. You can make it this Moot course or as a 3-credit unit course, if you like. That's a kind of extreme. Or you can make use like a free classroom, right? That means you actually upload certain courses, videos and so on and so forth, ask the student to read that. But you can continue using, right, the traditional 30 weeks a semester, that kind of mode. You can, of course, you can actually, you can make your own choice. Okay, maybe you ask the student to finish the Moot course first, and then do the second part of your course face to face. So this is a kind of thing I think you can think about. But now once you take out your course schedule, and then, right, you can think about how many, say, learning objects you can actually, say, upload to the Moot course, right? Then, this is the example I would like to show you. Now, this is an example similar to the mobile apps. So it's like a responsive web design foundation. So this is the course. I use the keep, say, catalog to search, like what you do.
Yeah, catalog.
Catalog, right?
Of course.
Yeah, and then I find actually,
Course.
yeah,
Search for it.
anyhow,
Right there.
like here. So I search it, and then I find a course like that. Okay, and then I really register. Okay, using my Facebook account. Okay, and then I get into it. Now, so let me show you a little bit. They have a summary, and then they have a course, and then their syllabus, and so on and so forth. But let's go back to my own PowerPoint slides. So this is actually their course. They can be, say, 5 lessons and so on and so forth. So you don't need to have 13 weeks, or maybe you just have 5 lessons. Okay. Now and then you talk about the requisites and what to learn, and also your syllabus, and also you can include a particular project. Okay. So this is a good time for me to show to the colleagues to tell them what they can do. Now and then here you need to make some, maybe the video, but I think you have a lot of videos already, right? And then you actually position, I think, all your teaching materials in, like here. And then, so this is like, you can actually click on some class. Now the class I think they actually do is actually quite nice. So like Professor King mentioned, so they trunk a big, maybe a 30 minutes video into a small clip of 1 or 2 minutes. So this is the clips you can actually go next and previous and so on and so forth. You can stop whenever you like. And then at the middle, right, just like the team mentioned, when you go through certain kind of slides, they will actually ask you a question. You can actually answer the question, and then once you submit the answers, they just like they present, they will say this is right or this is wrong, and actually guide them to a specific say way. I mean to handle this or particular video they can actually look after if they're wrong on certain say questions. And then the most interesting part, when we talk about gamification, one of the elements of gamification is this is what we call the dashboard. So or we call it progress bar. So they can actually know, right, what kind of lesson you have learned. But from here, it seems that they're very sequential. But what we want actually is parallel. They can actually have a choice. They can also have a plan before. Okay? So we can actually ask the student to have their own study plan, if possible. So I want to study that first, and then step first, and then maybe 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, for instance. And then I think this is also a kind of analytics we can actually think about is, will all the students follow their plan? Will they change plan? Right? Now that will be some research question, I think, quite interesting kind of research I think we can actually look at it, into it. Okay? And also they have I think the classroom to see the video. And also they have certain kind of materials. That means you can actually download. So the student can actually download, right? And also they have some discussion board. Right? So this is the discussion forum. Now although this course has been actually participated, okay, by what I know is 48,000, right? Students have participated. But when you look at the forum part, so it's actually quite, to me, yeah, a lot. And also, what kind of things, I mean, they actually look at into it is they pull out some of the questions, and they want to have the feedback from the other students and so on and so forth. But this is an interesting part. The social elements there. It's related to how many likes, how many users and views and so on and so forth, how many reply. Okay, now the other issue is how to promote this. Now again, if you're just making use of like a normal way to handle this class, maybe a kind of challenges. So we definitely need to think about what the recipe, right, the gamification, when we talk about, right, trying to make use of kind of intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic motivation, and how to make this kind of material as meaningful as possible. But we are still in the exploring stage. Please give us some more time and for us to think about. But at least this is a good research question, kind of question we have to draft. Now, so this is our first one. So maybe I can actually show you very quickly about one video that I think is quite nice. Sorry. For instance.
The web is changing. You can't just develop for desktop anymore. You need to think about different screen sizes.
Can we have that
Whoa,
counting second?
look. Well, that's not quite what I meant. Let's try that again. Oh, well, that one's even worse. Clearly, this website wasn't designed for people surfing on their mobile device. Let's change things up. Designing for the modern web means planning for modern mobile devices. If you keep in mind your users will be accessing your content on a wide range of screens, you'll make sure that everyone has the best experience possible.
Okay. And then I continue to talk about my second idea, right? Let's see. Sorry. Okay, the second course. So discovery, I mean the Chinese civilization. Now, Professor King, we have a very strong, right, CCIV, Chinese Civilization Center, right, in CityU. Right, we have, say, thousands of learning objects, like videos, some clips, right, that we can actually play around. So now what the point I think is how to categorize them, right, into different courses, right. So I would like to suggest, right, the following. So there's another moot course, right? It's actually given by the Nanyang University of Singapore, right? So it's similar to the kind of course I think we can actually talk about. So this is the course I would like to show you. This one. These are a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Alan Chen. I'm a professor of philosophy at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. I'm delighted to be able to invite you to join me in an exploration of Confucian philosophy. Now, the fact that you're watching this video suggests that you have an interest in Chinese philosophy, and you are also aware of the central importance of Confucius in the Chinese tradition. But what is Confucian philosophy? Behind me is the Great Hall of the Temple of Confucius in the city of Qufu, the birthplace of Confucius. In fact, a large crowd gathered here only yesterday in commemoration of the 2,565th anniversary of Confucius' birth. It was really quite exciting. Confucius is celebrated as the greatest teacher and sage in Chinese history. The plaque you now see, written by an emperor of the Qing dynasty, literally reads, "Model and teacher of all ages." Who was Confucius?
So I think the point I think here is they are not actually talking about the Chinese civilization as a whole, right? They have a focus, right, on talking about the Confucians, and you can actually see, right, this they actually recommend a 6-week kind of program, right, and about 1 to 1.5 hours, right, learning materials. I mean, they have to go through. Right, for this course, right? So 4 to 5 hours per week. Right. So this is I think the way I think we can actually transform, right, our course, right, from the existing kind of format, right, to a good course, but with a good focus, right, with say a real life context, with the interest of the students, not just the students. I mean, CityU can be the students that are overseas, right? So and I'm actually very proud. I think we have to keep here so it can be a portal. So when overseas, I mean, or some other place in the world, when they actually look for certain kind of course they are interested in, and then they can actually go to KIP. And then the KIP, I wish, I think the search engine for say our courses, I think actually can help. I mean, the foreigners, right, the outsiders. I mean, or even mainland Chinese. I mean, they can actually get into the KIP course and actually can find our course, right, easily. And want to, and also this is a one-stop shop. They can actually enjoy not just the course and also some other, right, features of KIP.
Yeah.
Right now, so I promise, Professor King, I think we actually see you will try our best. I mean, to identify, right, some good courses, so we can actually try, right, to help them to transform, right, their KIP courses, right, to good, right, to KIP, so that not just CityU students can enjoy, right, the rest of the world, and the students can also say have a chance.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll be very happy to do so. In fact, for the indexable meta object or object inside your whatever your Chinese civilization, we'll be very happy to include in our search engine. So when they search for particularly Confucian, whatever videotape, that will actually come up. So we're actually looking for all sorts of free available content. We will not hold a copyright,
Yeah.
but we will direct them to you, but they can use it or embed it into other teaching material. And that's what the value of KIP
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah. So yes.
I'm wondering, does the KIP platform support courses delivered in Chinese?
Well, Moodle and OpenEdX will support any language, in fact. but your video, will be tailored, right? Because you can select any language that you want. But your video, what we're recommending, in fact, is to do your video in whatever language, but you have a caption or subtitle, at least in English. In fact, we kind of recommend English, Cantonese, and Putonghua. So all three will be covered.
We have some research projects. We can actually help you, right, to transform your materials into online, right, version.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have that budget on Keep. But what we will do is take your already made product and promote to the whole world, and make whatever your resources, already available resources, also available to the whole world. That's what our promise will be.
Yeah, we try to be cost effective,
Yeah.
right, and win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win, I think.
And currently, the video server should be hosted at YouTube directly, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of different modes. We could help you to do it, although we do not prefer that. Most of them are on YouTube, but the problem is that China cannot access YouTube. Okay, so there are some issues. So we will tell you. So when you're ready to move things onto Moodle and OpenEdX, let us know. We will help you to solve that problem. Okay, because there are issues. But YouTube is one place that we can put a lot of video on.
So because if we are using YouTube, those capture video, actually we can embed whatever languages or captions we want.
Yeah,
Because-
I mean,
yeah.
that's a nice thing about YouTube, but that's also a bad thing about YouTube, because we cannot do it in China. So we have to do something else.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Depending on your audience. If your audience is really for Hong Kong, then it's okay. Cantonese is fine. But if your audience is mainland China, then you cannot put things on YouTube. We have to host it locally. Or we might do it through Amazon's EC2. So there are different ways that we can do it.
Thank you.
Maybe Kasha, do you have any comments related to?
Well, it's a bit early, but I would be interested in where the service.
The service actually is with us, with our ITSC, so it's very similar to your IT service. In fact, we want to talk with you so that we could, how should I say, a single
Verification?
verification, so that we could know that this is a student from CPU, and that will facilitate your attendance taking system right now. So if you use our poll and that, we'll give you the attendance. We'll tell you all the students. For us, because we work with VeryGuide. VeryGuide knows each student's all the courses and all the teachers' courses and the student in those courses. So we know all that information. And by knowing that, we can take roles, we can do a lot more interesting things. And this is my hope that we can actually get to the group.
As I said, I would bring back the idea and talk to the right people and find out more.
Yeah.
Another point is,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is when you put a course online, apart from text files, what's the difference between like a course and a game? It's because the game has a lot of visual elements
Right,
that are very attractive.
right.
So when talking about if we want to develop an online course with gamification element, will there be any support like a graphic designer or like to create more visual elements
Yeah.
in order to enrich the course itself? Like because young people nowadays do not like text too much.
Yeah.
Can we
We
use
also prefer.
But it's talking about you have to create images or like attractive like icons that involve a lot of design work.
Yeah, actually, so we're trying to acquire this gamification engine called Pagamo from Taiwan. So what it is really, have you played a game called Risk? R-I-S-K, Risk? It's basically like a territorial fighting game.
Yeah.
So when you fight and you win, your territory gets bigger. If you lose, your territory gets smaller, right? So in the game is you answer questions. You answer questions, you get it right, your territory will get larger and
Yeah,
larger.
that's exactly what I'm thinking
Right.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
you can also defend your territory by creating questions.
Yeah.
So you encourage the student to say, create questions so that other people will answer. And then other people can rate your questions. And you only get points if other people rate your question as being very interesting question, it's tough to solve or something like that, right?
Can you repeat the name of the game?
Oh, Pagamo, P-A-G-A-M-O.
Of the game?
Pagamo is an engine, it's an engine, Pagamo, P-A-G-A-M-O. Pagamo. So, and this is from, if you search for this, it will be from National Taiwan University. So they recently spun off a company to do just that. And then I think UPenn and Health, whatever, you can look it up. They are actually incorporating this into their teaching material.
I'm also thinking about like creating a map of China and then put different elements in.
Yeah, that would be really fun. That would be
And then I
really fun.
can win the province or I.
Yes.
So they can,
Yeah.
so they can learn through playing the game instead of like a very
fact-
traditional course with syllabus
Yeah.
and that stuff.
One of the things we found in terms of gamification is that, currency inside the classroom is really interesting. It has a very motivational
Yes.
and component. It's a very motivational. What that means is that, you give points and you take away points, by incentive and penalty, right? But creating this ecosystem is very, very inducive to engagement. So you give students points when they do something right, they do something quickly, they do something accurately.
Because when I was a kid, I like playing a millionaire to learn
Yeah.
the name of the roads in Hong Kong.
Right.
Exactly the same.
Yes.
Yeah, when we were young, we played the physical.
Yeah.
Now we play online. They will be the same. Yeah.
So,
we can-
so we're hoping, and by the way, we haven't shown you this, we're hoping to have a collection of, best practice too. So if you have any best practice, we would love to hear from you. We will actually sit you down, interview you, and these best practice maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes, and that's it. That's it. It's not like a long lecture, but these are good little gems that we would
Yes.
recommend teacher, like the way that you learn streets. That may be very
Yeah.
interesting, right? And we want to make them indexable so that people will search for this. So if anybody who say game, street,
Yes.
your module, your object will come up. So we're hoping to do that in the next round, not this round, but next round, to have best practice of something. And that's kind of our social component too. We want to get involved, teacher and student, in terms of sharing what is a good practice of education and learning. Yeah.
Two questions.
Yes.
More related to your research.
Okay.
You mentioned that we now have the key courses
Yes.
with partners from Alex, from Coursera, and so on. What do you mean by partner?
Partners is that they allow us to use their meta level, okay? And then we're working with Coursera right now, so that you could actually enroll through Keep. So the idea is that if we know some of the students' detail, for example, and they log into Keep, they search for a course. It may be from Coursera, OpenEdX, or someone else.
Now your registration system.
Yeah, our
It's only the URL, the email address, which
It's-
could be a personal one.
Right,
So
but
I'm
we,
interested because you mentioned about that
Right.
we can get analytics from you. Yeah. I just
so
don't see-
this is, so people sign up, and the way that we verify this is a student is to send the verification email through their university account. Okay, and this
So
is
they
why,
can only register through the university account.
no, if you, you can register with any account. But if
Oh, that's
we
right.
verify you are City U University, if we mail it to your City U University account. But we want to get one more level of verification is really from your IT service, okay? So once that is done, the way that we work with Coursera, OpenEdX, and so on and so forth, we do a single, help you to enroll in any of these things by one click. So because we know your information, we know your city, you, da 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 da. Then instead of going to Coursera to enroll individual thing and then go to Open edX enroll, no, you just enroll in Keep.
That means if I am studying student and I enroll in a course through KEEP,
Yeah.
then in
Then-
a way, I'm giving KEEP and Coursera the right to pass my information to CityU.
Yes.
So the student
We
needs to
will,
know.
we will tell you, this is a UGC project. It's no different from any project that you do. This is no different than any project that you do.
I understand.
Yeah. So-
UGC fund us, but doesn't mean that the student may want to give us the consent.
Yeah, they don't need to. That's what I'm saying, is that they don't need to verify their student. They can register just as any
I
user.
understand, but
Right.
then if they do that, then we don't get the analytics.
Exactly. So we will encourage them to do that, because we'll help you to collect and we'll disseminate back to you. That's the first question. And this is where we work with our partners. We're working with also Adore. So whatever the components that they have viewed, they have answered the question and know that, they will be also sent back. They will be analytically sent back to that. That's why we want to work with each individual's education system. And that's why we want to do with the partners, so that we have a very, magical sign-up system.
Oh.
One time, one place.
So Coursera has already agreed.
No, we're working with Coursera right
All
now.
right.
And we want to work with all other partners, so it will be just one sign-up. We will tell you who this person is, and trust us, because we'll keep. So we will be certified, right? We tell Coursera, this person is from Chinese U, and this has an identity, so and so and so forth. Right? It's no different from you signing out using your Facebook. So what we do is keep to consolidate all your aliases into one. So that we want to do is not only for university, in fact, we want to do for professional and lifelong learning. So you will keep track of this all throughout your life. You still come back to keep and look at what you've done 10 years ago, or what you want to do, and so on and so forth.
And I learned from Ron's presentation that actually we are thinking of or planning to deliver 2 MOOC courses through the KEEP platform.
Yeah.
Then maybe probably using the Open edX.
Yes.
Then my question is, what's KEEP's plan? I mean, you've got 8 institutions, so in the end, by the end of the 3-year
Three-year
period,
period, right.
how many such courses are you planning to?
We want to do as many as we possibly can, but again, we're not content providers. So what we're doing is, I'm more on the infrastructure side. So I'm providing with the platform, I'm providing with all the hookup, all the facilities, right? So we hope people will move in. We'll hope that buy-in from the university, so that they can actually better to facilitate the e-learning outside.
Right.
We don't touch your university internal system,
Sure, sure.
but for anything that is outside, we may be able to actually use the key
So
system.
all your partners, they need to produce at least 2 or deliver 2?
No, there's no such requirement. We're very happy to work with CityU. And in fact, Hong Kong IED is thinking about moving all their entire Moodle system at one time. Entire Moodle courses onto Key. But there was some concern because they didn't want it to open up to the whole world. Then for us that's not that interesting. We're just helping them then, That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to highlight, is to promote your material that your university might not want to promote at the Coursera or the edX level, but maybe the teachers say, I would like to do that.
Then for courses who are to be delivered through the KEEP platform,
Right.
do they carry the CityU logo or just the teachers?
You could do that. In fact, we'll be working out the next meeting in January, actually, in January, February. We're talking about is to have a certificate. That will be agreed upon by all 8 universities, saying that once you're done this course on the key course, right, we'll give you a certificate. I mean, it doesn't mean much, but it just means that you accomplish whatever the instructors say that you have accomplished, the minimum requirement. So that's what we try to do. Now, I hope I answered your question.
Not exactly that.
There you go.
But I have a question. I mean, is there any plan?
Sorry, my question is more the corporate identity. Because
Oh.
once you touch on that, it's a different issue. If
Like-
it's just CCIB doing something more on the CCIB level, like collaboration with KIP,
Right.
it's easier. But then if you're talking about CityU's name, carry to in it,
Right.
it's a whole different discussion.
I think let me say this. I think for the generic things, we don't have an individual logo. Right? You could put it in
Not
yourself.
necessarily logo,
Yeah,
even the
entity.
name, saying that this is a City U course
Yeah.
through the platform.
Right.
It's a different discussion from like
See,
Dr. Ron Kwok delivering this
Right.
course.
I think-
But
I
even
think-
that, you may need to discuss this because that could be
Absolutely.
outside practice.
Yeah. If
You
you
have
have
to be
to,
careful with these things, I'm not discouraging things, but I just want to be careful, you know.
Oh, I see.
I think you brought up a lot of legal and other policy issues that perhaps is beyond my pay grade right now to discuss.
I understand,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't want to continue
Right.
earlier on.
So,
Knowing those are, I just want to know what your plan is. I just don't want it to be till the very end, you've done all the things and the university say no. You know, because these are more complicated than your original planning of sharing knowledge,
right.
which is very
Yeah,
noble.
so what we want to do is really share what you have done to the whole world. You know, whether it's, if you're afraid about the CU and identity or not afraid about it, I don't know. But you certainly could do it as an individual. In fact, eventually we are hoping to open up a particular track for the professionals. So the way that we do is, if it's free, if you don't charge people, we don't charge anything. But if you do, then portion will come to the key platform to keep it going. So we're encouraging actually teachers, so that could be outside practice too. But for some of the teaching, what we're doing right now as Chinese U is to open this in parallel. So what that means is that we have a course that is open to the whole world, but for our student, we have more face-to-face time at the same time.
Okay.
So we're doing this in parallel. We're going to experiment this with one of the courses that we have. And this is something that has not been done, but that's how, we hope that will work. That's all.
My question is related. Is it possibility that you have, say, credit-bearing group course and City U?
Let's discuss it, it's a very complicated.
It's very complicated. We are working
Think
toward that
about
too.
it, because even just now, you explained, the platform you have got now offers only multiple choice questions.
No.
Well, mostly.
You could do a lot more.
And then for MOOC, it's mostly peer assessment now. I mean, I'm talking about the majority. So just those things.
Okay.
Do you think the QA will prove that? So that's more complicated. That's why I think it's more complicated.
So let me turn this a little bit, okay? So instead of MOOC, this can be turned into a Spark, and this will be perfectly also for internal use as well.
And it's different. It's not the MOOC.
Right. So it's not a MOOC, right? So what we could do is restrict, instead of the whole world, we just say, okay, this will be only for, only for all the university inside Hong Kong, for example. Because we represent in some of UGC, right? We could say that, and that's okay. That's okay. But we still need a collaboration from you to get that student. So we don't hold that. But we are working toward that because we are moving to a online credit-bearing thing now. Because in China, they're already doing that. They're already saying you have to take one, requirements to take one course. And this is, I think, Beida. I think Beida is doing that. When Tsinghua, one of these, I forgot, but it's one of very high level, they say that every student will do this.
Which university holds or own the online server or the online key or MOOC in China?
Which university?
Yeah.
Nobody owns T. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
here.
You mean Beida?
Beida.
I think Beida.
What do you mean? But
北大
学堂是清华，
Oh, so that's-
学堂是清华，好大学，and then there is one from 上海交通。There are like 3 major ones. Yeah, very big.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Are we good?
Yeah, but I think to make the entry barrier,
Okay.
right, of transforming the existing course to the MOOC course, that's the key issues, I think.
I think that would be interesting, and I would really promote it as doing kind of in parallel,
Yeah.
because then you will be able to actually learn, and you could do a Spark with face-to-face time, and at the same time you could open this up to the whole world. They just watch the video, do the lecture, do the homework, without any face-to-face feedback, without discussion, and so on and so forth. And that's okay.
Yeah. Professor King, now, frankly speaking, you mentioned you're handling the infrastructure, but from the teacher's perspective, that will be another world.
I
Right.
understand, I
Yeah.
fully understand.
Yeah,
And,
so we try to help to each other, I mean, to make.
So yeah, Chinese News is really hiring a lot of, what do you call it, a curriculum designer
Yeah,
to help teachers to transform
yeah,
their material into video. We really are doing a very major push in terms of micro-learning.
yeah. Then we need to learn from you, from Chinese News.
No, you guys are doing good. You guys are, your ranking shot up a lot. We know this too. We're kind of like, whoa.
E-learning is not part of the county.
Is that right? I need to talk to Horace then. No, I mean, Horace and I, we actually go 20-some years. Horace, yeah. We were doing image processing, content-based image. Yeah, so I know him quite well too.
Good.
Yeah.
Right.